everyone. My name is Lynette Davis, and I am your host of Marketing Superheroines and Superheroes Unite. So, I have an awesome special guest today, Miss Mandy Edwards, who is going to share with us a little bit of her awesome sauce. So, welcome, Mandy.
Well, thanks for having me, Lynette. I appreciate it.
Awesome. So, why don't you tell us about yourself and how you serve the world with your unique superpowers?
Okay. Well, like you had said when you introduced me, my name is Mandy Edwards. I own ME Marketing Services. It is a social media marketing company, and we serve clients all over the United States and Canada doing everything from web design to social media consulting to actually managing businesses' social media and their social media advertising. Uh, I've had my business will turn 4 next month, and but I've been doing sales and marketing since I graduated college back in 2000. So I've seen everything go from your clip art on CDs to now everything's at your fingertips on the internet. So, but I am a work from home mom. My business is full time, but I have a home office, and it's fun to talk to other people who are in have whether it's nieces, nephews, other children that they're working home with as well, because it can be a bit of a balance when you've got two children and have to juggle dance, school, all the other stuff, and try to work at the same time. So, but I truly enjoy what I do, and I feel very blessed to be doing something I love, and I just love to help other businesses and help other people. And of course, I could talk to a brick wall, so I love doing stuff like this. And so when Lynette, I jumped right on in.
Awesome, awesome. And I'm definitely excited to have you here. So, could you tell me a little bit about your understanding about the interaction between, other forms of traditional marketing and the type of services that you offer as a social media specialist?
Yeah, the interaction, it's got to be where it's almost kind of going together these days. It's kind of like when you look at the fields of marketing and PR. I went to the University of Georgia, and marketing was through the business school. That's what I did. Then you had PR, went through the journalism school. But now, it's kind of all fused together into one where everything you're doing is marketing and PR. So that's kind of how I see, your traditional marketing that everyone's used to, your broadcast, your print, and the online digital social media marketing. There's so many ways now that they all go together and interact, whether it's your broadcast ad on the television station may say find us on Facebook, or your Facebook ads, you may share your commercials on that. As technology grows, we're more and more where it's kind of almost merging in together, where you don't have two separate types of marketing. It's all fused into one, and there are a lot of great ways that they can kind of work back and forth. I've seen a lot of it with different companies with their just basically doing social media contests where they promote it via their traditional, whether it's in print or broadcast or on air, and then directing people back to the social media, or they're using the social media to direct people back to an in-store special or contest that they're having, that you actually have to walk into a brick and mortar place and do that. So we're seeing how they're kind of, it's almost kind of, they're complementing each other, to where it's not okay, well, we can't do social media marketing because we're doing traditional marketing. It's now where you have to do both. And even with the clients I work with, there's been several who've wanted to do nothing but social media, but I tell them that they have an audience that's not ever going to be on Facebook, that's not ever going to pick up, they're going to stick with your basic phone and not get Instagram or anything like that on there. So you have to kind of have both sides to complement each other. And that's kind of how everything is going forward. And that's kind of how they're interacting, as a way to complement and kind of, work together to get to that greater goal that that business wants to have.
Awesome. Now, you said something which is funny, and I can't believe it, but I have not heard anybody talk about social media contests on this show yet. So you brought it up, so now I'm totally going to dig into that.
That's fine.
Because a lot of people, I feel like they kind of sleep on the contest. And I think contest is actually a great way to merge or to help with that interaction between what's going on offline and what's going on online. But could you tell me a little bit about, how one, especially, our audience who are mostly authors and speakers and coaches and consultants, how could they, a few steps to running a very successful social media contest and making all of that work together?
Well, there's different ways. Facebook relaxed some of their contest rules because before people were really hesitant to do a lot of those because you couldn't ask people to comment, to win something. But now Facebook, you can do anything except require them to share it as a means of entry. But there's different ways, especially like with authors. You've if you're an author, you've got this great book that you want people to get out, and you could use it as a tool that you can just do a straight up giveaway to give the book away, to say 5 lucky followers, or you could kind of put it together where it could be I'm trying to think because there's one I just saw, where if I'm trying to think. I had one where they gave you 2 or 3 copies of the book to give away to your friends. And there was one that you could ask people that may have read the book and reviewed it, and if they write a review, they're entered to win, and then they pick from the reviews. One lucky person will win an autographed copy of the book plus 2 others to give away to friends or to give away on their website as well. So having that book as an actual tangible item, there's several different ways. I mean, you could go about it. It could be, you could do that on Facebook, or it could be what was your kind of just tell me your favorite part about the book, and kind of to get kind of testimonies from people who have read it, or if it's someone who has read it. I mean, you always if no one's read it and you want to get it out, I would just do a straight up giveaway, for an author. With other consultants and coaches, a lot of them could do, your product or service that you offer is your tangible item. So if it's a consultant or say a life coach or some other business coach, I mean, you could do something where you could almost do like I feel like I'm going back to elementary school when I say it, like an essay contest type, where, if you're a business coach, you could do a contest where it's, all right, write to me and tell me in so many words, why you need this service, or how you would benefit from business coaching, or why you think you need business coaching, or something along that lines, and then get people to enter. And there's different apps and stuff you can find online to use to host your contest. And from that, and they win, say, a hour coaching session, or if they want to do something bigger like a month, a free month of coaching. That way you can, by doing something like that for the business, it can apply to any type of coach possible. But when you're doing that and people are writing in, especially if you ask them, how could you benefit from this? Then you're getting feedback from people who are following you, so you can see what areas that they need, people that are needing help in, to where you can kind of say, oh, well, if it's in an area that you haven't really done much with, when it comes to that, you can like, okay, well, I need to really look and kind of put some more time into this because there's obviously an audience and a need for that. So there's some ways to really kind of use your contest to also kind of do market research, so to speak, if you're doing something where people are having to write in answers. So, I mean, you could probably go into Google and say, social media contest for business consultants, and it's going to give you probably 1,000 different ideas. And a lot of them, I mean, it's, you pretty much, they kind of go back and forth. There's always, your giveaways, your write-in answers, sweepstakes. There's different ones if you're in a graphic-based company where it's, different images. You can incorporate Instagram and Pinterest. I've seen a lot of Instagram contests lately. That's one platform I've used for a while personally, but I'm getting more into on the business side with my business account. And I was essentially at a conference a couple weeks ago where there was a lot of lifestyle bloggers, a lot of higher end design companies that were there, and they were all, I mean, it kind of blew me away how they were all using Instagram, and they were all having some kind of contest on their Instagram, feeds, at some point a week, whether it was, repost and tag, or comment with 2 friends, tag 2 friends in the comments. So that's gaining a lot of popularity, but that's really more for your, I would say, image graphic, visual type companies. I don't know if the Instagram one would necessarily work for a coach, but it could work if you've got a large following. But you kind of, with your social media contest, you want to really limit it to the platform and the area that you're the strongest and that you have the most people following on. Because there's no sense in doing a contest on, say, Pinterest if you only have, 20 people following you on Pinterest. Now, I mean, you can always do it on Pinterest and promote it on your other social channels to increase that. But I would say if you're looking at all your social accounts and you have, say, 1,500 Facebook fans, and the rest, are less than 100 on the other, or less than 1,000 on the other platforms, go with your strongest one, and then use your other social media platforms to promote the contest and send them back to the platform you're hosting it on. And a lot of people too will also do those on their blog as well. I mean, you can host them on social media, or you can actually host one on your blog and promote it via your social media channels. So there's a lot of different ways people can go about it. I've seen so many different options that it's kind of, it takes forever to kind of list them all out.
No, you brought up some excellent points. And, I'm familiar with doing the Facebook one, and I've seen a couple of blog contests. I am surprisingly, as much as they say millennials or like team Instagram, I am not really on there. I like to read. So I'm the odd woman out on that one. But I do go on there and I do see, why people would be into it. But I will have to look at that because I'm like kind of curious now, like, wow, how does this Instagram contest stuff work? But I know that when I did do the Facebook contest, for instance, at one point we had to only use apps. And there were a couple of apps that I really did like. I could think like WooBox, for instance, or Fans with Benefits. So, but I'm not sure anymore because it's been a long time if we even really need the apps. Although even if we didn't, I did hear that it's still kind of better and it'll keep you more organized, which I believe you said that was a piece of your unique superpower to use the app. Is that accurate?
Yes. I mean, the app gives you, because you can do a basic timeline contest where it's like and comment or whatever, but that if you go with an app, that covers you, legally, so to speak. Because if you do a contest on Facebook, especially if you collect information like names and emails, you have to have a disclaimer on there that it is you collecting the information, not Facebook. And of course, I'm married to an attorney, so I always have to make sure my I's are dotted and my T's are crossed. So using a third-party app, which almost all of the one, I mean, I don't know if there's really any free ones out there anymore. There may still be, but the ones that I've used, I've had to pay for just because I wanted the more features, the data, all that stuff in the background. But using an app, it usually will be Facebook friendly, so to speak, with the legalese. So it's got all the disclaimers and everything you need on there without having to worry about, okay, I got to make sure I put this somewhere on here. And because it kind of trip you up, because especially with email addresses going out there, I can't tell you how many emails I have to unsubscribe to every day for people adding me without my permission. And so having that on an app on Facebook, that kind of protects you, that, when they enter, they are acknowledging that they are giving you their email address, that you have permission to send them emails if you have that on there, because you can give them that option as well. So I would always, I do have a few clients that will do a graphic with a like and comment type of contest, but that's usually just for a straight up giveaway. We're not collecting any information. But if you're wanting to collect email addresses for your email list, or if you need contact information, you definitely need to go through an app on Facebook just to kind of protect yourself on the legal side of it, just to make sure that you've got all your permissions and disclaimers in there. Not to say something would happen to you, but it's better to be safe than sorry. Because I have horrible luck, and knowing the one time I did it, something probably would happen.
I'm like that too. Now, I just want to clarify something because, for those who are listening, they're talking about timeline ones. You said like and comment, but I believe you were referring to a status update, like and comment, not they must like the Facebook page. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, they can, you can say you need to like the Facebook page, but a lot of them will take that status and put a graphic or something in there that'll say, like and comment on this post to be entered to win. I see those a lot more now than like the page to win. Because I think, and I'm trying to think, I heard somewhere through the grapevine, Facebook was kind of deterring people from requiring people to like a page. I know on all the apps, you cannot require them to like the page to enter your contest through the apps. Not to say people aren't doing it when they put in a status update, but I know with all the apps on Facebook, you cannot require them to like your page anymore to be entered to win. But if you do it as a status update, you can require them to like and comment on that post. As for having them like, saying you need to like the page as well, it's kind of tracked, to be honest, because when you go and see people who liked your page, sometimes it doesn't show everybody. So it's a little, I would say, if you haven't liked it, please like our page. I would ask them to like it, not require them. Just because the way Facebook's done with the apps, I would think that would apply to the timeline, the status update type contest as well.
Awesome. Awesome. So we're talking a lot about apps and tools and everything. What is I'm going to kind of ask to and break it down. What is one of your
Okay.
favorite social media tools? And since we were talking about apps, what is one of your favorite contest apps?
For social media tools, I am a Sprout social addict. I know several of the girls that work there, and I mean, they are just great top to bottom. Sprout Social, for if anyone's not really heard of it, it's like Hootsuite, but to me, it's so much better. Now, it's not free like Hootsuite, but the benefits from it totally, justify, paying for it. They have a smart inbox that, like all the accounts I manage, it comes in the morning, and it's one straight smart inbox, chronological order. So I can go through every little thing and check it off and mark it as complete rather than have like 5 different streams in front of me. They have all the features where you can go through their Twitter feeds and do stuff. You can schedule your posts. The analytics are awesome. It's, of course, it gives you a nice, pretty color report too, but, the analytics you get from that are so much more than some of the other programs out there. But really what sets them apart in my mind is the customer service. Anytime I've had a question or an issue, I'll tweet them or live chat them, and it's answered within 5 minutes. They really go above and beyond for all of their customers, and it's just a nice, clean user face. And of course, they've got the mobile apps to go along with it. But that's the one tool that I really can't live without.
Awesome.
And then you had asked about contest apps. The one I use the most is it's called Easy Fan Pages. No, Easy Promo Apps. I had to think, sorry, because there's several different ones. It's a company, I believe they're based out of Canada, but they're really good. I mean, they've got the free contest ones, and then there's paid ones, but they're the ones that I've always used for Facebook contests. It gives you, it's kind of a template type thing that it gives you, the dimensions for your graphics. It looks nice, it looks professional. It collects all the information, and then you can download it afterwards, and it's just very easy to use. Very easy, very seamless, and you can always edit stuff in the middle of the contest as well. I've tried several others, but that's the one I tend to go with 9 times out of 10.
Awesome. Awesome. I actually have not heard of that one. So I learned a new tool today. It was a lot that I used to use, but yeah, there's always room to learn.
Well, and there's always new stuff coming on every single day. There may be something that comes out tomorrow that I'm like, oh, this is cool. We need to try this one. But I mean, every time you turn around, there's some new social media app coming out, whether it's content management or contests or something to help you manage your Twitter stuff. So I mean, there's so many out there that it can get kind of overwhelming if you're just starting out.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Now you brought up another important point. One of the reasons why you said that you like Sprout Social, and there was a lot, and
Yeah.
you gave such a thorough description of it. Actually, I do agree. They have fantastic analytics. So, of all the tools that I've used, and I love Hootsuite. I'm team Hootsuite all the way, but I really do love Sprout Social's analytics. Sometimes I would just go have it just because of the analytics. But I love tools. They make life go around and make us productive and efficient. But one of the big things that you said that really turned your heart towards Sprout Social was their customer service. And to me, that was more focused on relationship building. And I feel like there's this big push and this big movement in the social media sphere right now to get people to get more towards relationship minded approach to their marketing strategies. What do you think about that?
Oh, I see it definitely, because when social media first came out and businesses started jumping on, it was all sell, 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 sell. Let's get this out, let's get this special out, let's get this graphic out. But now, because everyone's used to it, it's like people have become almost blind to it now. If you go through your Facebook stream, you're gazing over the ads. You're not really paying attention anymore because you've got accustomed to just skipping over them. And so companies have really realized that now they really need to actually be a person online and branch out and make that relationship. Yes, it may not mean immediate sale, but you build that relationship with that potential customer, and when the time comes for that customer to have that need, you've got that relationship. So they're not going to go, you're going to that business. Mark Schaefer, who is someone that I respect, admire, we're friends, I love him to pieces. He had an article out in the last year about relationship marketing and how it's almost how things are almost going back now to the way they were, say, 200 years ago when you went to the market. You bought, your produce from the guy that lived, 3 miles away, but it was all done on relationships. And that's kind of how everything's morphing now. And a lot of it has to do with word of mouth as well, because as you have that relationship, you're going to have people talk about it. Where, like with me and Sprout Social, I'll be like, yes, they have great customer service, that sets them apart. Those good experiences is going to turn into your word of mouth marketing through that relationship. And of course, if something bad happens in that relationship, bad spreads faster than good online, unfortunately. But, you've got to really reach out to those people, because people want to be acknowledged. They want to feel appreciated. They want to feel like, you appreciate them, their value. And so people are more likely to spend money with a company they have a relationship with, even if it's more expensive than the one down the street that's cheaper, that they have no relationship with. So companies and brands are finally kind of latching on to the fact that, hey, we kind of have to, go back on our, marketing plans and really kind of work on this relationship stuff, because, and you want it to be authentic. You don't want it to be, make a relation or try to have a relationship with someone, or, with your customers, and reach out to them and it be very fake, because people can read through that. But if you take a genuine interest in, say, your community online, where say you're a tech company, and a lot of your people that follow you, they're gamer, or they like the different apps on their phones. I mean, you can go off of your topic of your industry and say, hey, did you see the new World of Warcraft thing, or what do you think about Kate Upton and the Game of War commercials that are out there? Even though it may have nothing to do with your business, you're opening that line of conversation with them, and that's how it starts. And building that relationship is reaching out, finding that common ground, and kind of going from there. Now, I know larger companies say, like, your Targets or your Walmarts or your, big department stores, it's really hard for them to do that. But there are ways they can do it. They can kind of break it down, to whether, say, you're at a Neiman Marcus, and it could be, just in the, talking to just the women about women's clothes as opposed to the whole, company. It's more of an advantage, I would think, for your small to mid-sized businesses, because they can still reach out individually. It's not this big corporate, corporate giant that has a lot of red tape. But I've seen it more, different brands, trying to start the conversation, whether it's, just even, during some of the big sporting events on TV. Companies will have ads, about, hey, tell us, tweet us with this hashtag and tell us what you think, to where they're kind of using the traditional mediums to get them to start the conversation online as well. And I see more of it through Twitter than any other social media platform out there, because they've got all these new listening tools and stuff like you can use through Sprout Social. You can have it where it'll ding you when someone mentions you in a tweet, or even talks about something that has to do with your business. And so, with all those going on, brands can monitor that and really kind of get in there and jump in that conversation when they're mentioned, saying, oh, it could be a simple, thank you for, saying those nice words about us, or, oh, we saw you are having an issue. How can we help? By taking that initiative and starting that conversation, you build that relationship. And more companies are doing that now, because that's people, the way they want to be felt. They're trying to, there's so many people competing for attention out there. And I know, like with Facebook, they say you've got the potential of seeing up to 1,500 stories in your feed anytime you get on. And plus, they're saying now that our attention span is shorter than a goldfish's, and their attention span is like 3-point-something seconds. It was in a video I saw. And so you've got to catch that attention. But if you're building that relationship, you're going to get their attention and hold it longer. So that's where more stuff's coming in. And I'm saying, when I've mentioned stuff on, Twitter, but you're going to see, I mean, it's coming through. People are starting to see it, but I think, through the next year or two, you're going to see more of it, because that's how people are going to be sold to, ultimately, is through those relationships, as opposed to some, I think of those old, the car dealership commercials where it's a big flash, buy now, save here, or the, really flamboyant guy on the radio. People, that turns people off anymore. And so they want that, they want to feel like, hey, this company appreciates me. So, with that relationship.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because I think even Facebook, they're kind of, admonishing more salesy kind of posts in their update, and they're not really showing those as much. And sometimes we think like, oh, well, I'm not saying buy here and sell now, but we have very similar words, and, not salesy. They're salesy, but they're not like buy here, buy now, but words are very similar to it. Maybe something like, instead of, like a genuine post, well, not genuine, but a general post, like, all right, hashtag TGIF, check out this video or whatever, it's funny or something like that, where people are going to look at that like, yeah, because it's Friday and I want to look at something fun, rather than it's Friday. Oh, by the way, sign up for my newsletter and get
Yeah.
this, where, it's to us originally, it's like, well, this is innocent. It's just a newsletter, but to, maybe to somebody else, that's salesy.
Yeah, and Facebook's cutting down on a lot of that as well. They changed their algorithm a couple months ago to kind of cut out some of those more sales pitchy ads because they're wanting you to use those in a promoted post or an ad instead, which that's a whole nother topic I could get into. But yeah, but they're cutting down on that. So especially with the clients I have, some of them we've had to cut out a lot of their some of their posts that they were wanting to do because I'm like, that sounds too much like a sales pitch. You can post it, but you may get 5 people see it as opposed to 100 people if it's not. So, and I honestly, I've not seen as much of that. Of course, I've changed with all my clients. We've changed our wording. So we don't really have any blatant sales pitch ads out there anymore. Unless it's one of my local restaurants that's saying, here's today's, blue plate special, type of thing. But I know, the reach on some of those has gone down, but I think everyone's kind of shifted in the way they've posted anyway, because I haven't seen a whole bunch of those. So I'm hoping everybody got the message and changed up their, the way they presented their content. Because a lot of it has to do too with the quality of their content as well. The low quality stuff, like the funny, little funny memes that have nothing to do with what you're doing. Facebook's kind of cut those out too, because what drives me crazy, and I know this is kind of off topic, but you've got some of these social media consultants out there that all they post are inspirational quotes and graphics. If you're a social media consultant, people are following you for social media information, not inspirational stuff. If I want that, I'll go look on Pinterest. But so that's why companies were doing that, just to get their reach up so more people would see their stuff. So Facebook decided that was considered low quality content. Now, every now and then it's okay, but not post after post after post after post. But because you can't build a relationship when all you do is put out inspirational quotes. So
very true. I've always been a fan of mixing up the content and having a diverse timeline.
I agree, and you should, because you've got people following you and you're wanting to build that relationship. So you've got to have things that, with different people.
Awesome. So I know that, I think at one point it was just kind of like Mandy Edwards, but you have grown since that time, and you have grown a nice little team in a boutique since I've last been on there. And I've also found it interesting you were talking about starting relationships and everything, because I remember seeing some more recent articles from you about hashtags and the power of the hashtags to help start some of those relationships, which I thought was really cool. But you kind of already went into that, so I'm not going to go over it. And I found out something cool, because not too many people can talk about gaming and World of Warcraft. So I was like, okay, your cool points just went up, because I caught on to that, but I'm pretty sure if they're not really in the gaming industry, nobody else would have known that. But I was like, ding. So I was like,
just a little
cool points.
I don't actually play those games. I know about them because I've got a client that some of their market is into that type of stuff. So of course, different clients, different markets, you get to learn about everything. But my husband could tell you more about it than I could. I can tell you all about sports up and down, but that's one thing with social media too. You've got to be familiar with different industries and what the different key audiences like, because you can't build a relationship without knowing anything about them.
Yeah, definitely. I know about it, although I don't game anymore, but I used to actually be a gamer girl. So cool. I just built something about myself. But those who know me are probably not surprised, because they know I like comics and everything. So I'm just all around geek.
Hey, so I am too. My husband and I love Marvel, and we were at the Avengers 2, the night it came out. So
awesome. Yeah, we just had Philly not too long ago. I was really upset because I missed it this year, but next year. Awesome. So, in your experience with your new team, and you're totally growing and everything, what are some of the things that you would suggest to somebody who may have started off solo and they're ready to branch out and, kind of not I don't want to say become this big corporate giant, because
Hmm.
not everybody wants to do that. But, you're getting to the point where you're like, yeah, I'm solo, but I really don't have to do this alone, because I did
Hmm.
notice, you're not the only one writing the articles. I see you now have some
Hmm.
people, some very talented young ladies coming on to help you with that. So can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah. I started off by myself, and as the business grew, I realized I can't do it all by myself. There's only so many hours in the day. So, I talked to our local university and, got on, and I've always had interns working with me. Because a piece of advice someone gave me back when I started, and I tell everybody this if they ask, do what you're good at and outsource what you're not. There's no sense in trying to be, the one all that can handle everything, because you can't. Like there's some parts that that I'll outsource, or have my interns work on. And I actually just hired my first paid assistant, and she's getting started. Sourcing some of the stuff that takes away from the stuff I love. So with business owners, when you're by yourself and you're like, okay, this is more than I can handle, or it's okay, I'm not really getting to do what I want because I'm caught up doing all this little daily stuff that's taking away from what I really love to do. That's I always, first tell people, go to your local university and ask about interns. They can do it for college credit, they can be paid, they can not be paid. They can do it just for the experience. But they're always, now I've had some good interns and I've had some bad interns, but it's someone to kind of help to where it kind of gets you growing without a whole bunch of, payroll and overhead, to where when it gets to the point, like, there's me, the business has grown. I've been blessed over the last 9 months. And so I needed to bring on someone who could stay with me longer than a semester, that was dependable, that I could count on to always be there. And so that's why I hired Alice, which I haven't got her added to the website yet. But, it helps when you have the ability, especially, and I would say don't take on, everything. Just kind of start with, if you're at a point where you're getting really busy and you can't take it on, start with one intern. And then as it grows, and you might want to add on another intern, or just hire, a part-time assistant. Because I've always taken the approach of grow with your business. Don't go take out a small business loan for thousands of dollars and try to be this big thing starting off. Start small and grow, grow your business as your business grows. But it's always important to keep in mind, you want to do what you do best. That's your moneymaker. And the stuff you're not as good at, or the stuff that keeps you from doing what you want to do, that core part of your business, outsource it, whether you're using an intern or you're paying somebody to do it. Because by doing that, that alleviates a lot of the pressure off of you. And it takes, the stuff that you're spending a lot of time on, it takes that to somebody else takes that over. So you have more time to do what, you love to do. For me, like Alice is taking over a lot of the day-to-day stuff, kind of the, monitoring all the accounts, engaging on all the accounts. I still do some of that too, but a lot of the smaller daily stuff that I would spend a couple hours a day on, taking me away from the, the campaigns I was working on, the strategies I was working on. And I do some web design on this, getting me away from that, to where, now that she's on, I'm almost like twiddling my thumbs. I'm like, okay, she's doing all that. Now I've got to really kind of get back into the stuff that I love, because I had got it down to where I was doing a little bit, but now I'm like, I've got more time that I can actually sit and get it done in one day, and not have to, some now, some tomorrow night. But, a lot of it comes down to, it's also, big, time management saver too, having someone else. But, you don't want to bite off more than you can chew, and just kind of grow with your business, which is what I've done. You don't want to, like I had said a while ago, you don't want to kind of start off being this big company. You got to, as your clients and your client base grows, you grow, like, especially with programs, start with the smallest plan, and as you need it, add on to it. But, of course, I had said, one of my little, I guess you saw my superpower is organization. I'm such an organization nut that I've got to have everything laid out. That's why I love Sprout, because it's so organized. And, I try to keep everything, okay, this time's for this time's for this. And then having, interns work with me. Okay, they're doing all this stuff. Here's what I'm doing. So I kind of know what's going on at the same time. But, I would just say, if you're at that point where you think, you're at the point where you can admit, okay, I've got more going on than I can handle by myself, reach out to your local university or tech school, and ask about internships, because that's, a lot of them are willing to do it for free for the experience, or do it for college credit for experience. And so, I mean, they'll help you out. but won't really, hurt your bottom line, so to speak, because you got to, think of all of that in there too. But all that rambling, that's kind of my advice of what I would say.
That's awesome. Actually, I think you're the first person. Now, I've heard about interns, but you're the first person who brought up reaching out to local colleges. And I actually think that's a great idea. And I'm probably contradicting myself because I'm a virtual assistant. But I was a college grad at one point. I was in college, and I needed somebody to give me a chance. So I think that's great. And it's graduation time. So, I'm all team help the college kids.
And they need that experience. There's so many that the ones that have worked with me, they're wanting to go into some kind of marketing, whether it's for an agency or work on social media for a company. And they don't teach this stuff in college right now. You might get one course in digital marketing, but you can't major in digital marketing. You can't major in social media marketing. So you get a little bit in a PR class here, a little bit in a marketing class here, and they're wanting the experience to go out and get that job. When they're competing against thousands of other graduates, they need that experience. And, because I know the professors and the internship director at our local university here. And I mean, she's even told me that kids are all the time are looking for this type of stuff. They're wanting to get into it because in the PR and marketing field, that's where everything's going. And, they want more experience than just knowing how to do it personally. And of course, I want to help them get the best job they can. So that's why, for me, I've always gone to interns first, it just to give, because I remember being in college, you need that experience when you graduate. And sometimes you just got to do it for free if you can't find a paid job, a paid, part-time job or a paid internship. But, I'm all about, helping these kids get the experience they need. So when they graduate, they have something that they can go to a potential employer and say, look, here's what I did, X, Y, Z. With all the interns I have, I do require them to blog on my website because that helps them build an online presence and a portfolio that they can take to a prospective employer and say, look, I have this many articles published. Here's the social shares for each, article. So the person can say, oh, this is a good article. This is how many appeared, so they can kind of see that this person, has the ability to do what they're applying for.
Exactly. Awesome. I think that's a really good win-win situation on both parties. And you're right, because when you're, I think especially, and I know because I've been around, I was mentoring college kids, but even though I probably still look like one, but I know that they're like, yeah, I do social media all the time and everything like that, but it's not necessarily the same thing. So I think it's good for them to experience doing it from a business perspective, not, hey, this is what I'm drinking right now, or, oh, finals are coming up. Actually, they had this whole hashtag not too long ago about college in 6 words or something like that.
Oh, wow. I bet that was funny.
Yeah. I had to join in that one because that was really fun. That was fun. But so this has been so awesome, and I love the content that you have delivered for the audience. It was,
thank you.
Like I said, this is the first time I actually got to talk about social media content, so this was really cool. So could you leave us one final takeaway or tip with us, one final wisdom tip that, we can take with us to kind of help us power booster up? Because sometimes when you're in this, as exciting, as new and exhilarating as it is, it really is a roller coaster ride, and sometimes we're down. So we could use a power booster. Would you leave us with one?
Yes, it would be to always, of course, it goes back to my little super skill, stay organized and have a plan. Business is not going to always be, sunshine and rainbows, but you've got to have a plan to kind of, know how you're going to react in every situation, whether it's, okay, yeah, we had 3 clients come off contract. All right, we got to replace that, or it's, okay, things are going great. Okay, I've got more than I can handle. Okay, what's my plan to do X, Y, and Z? You've got to, being an entrepreneur, working in any industry, or it's life coach, social media, whatever, you've got to always stay organized and have a plan, because if you're not organized, you're just going to you're going to come apart at the seams. And I've unfortunately seen that happen to some people, but my tip would to be stay organized, have a plan, and always be prepared, like the Boy Scouts.
Love that. And I wind up getting a little frog in my throat, but yes, I love that. Awesome. So Mandy, I am so thankful that you came on. It's Thursday. Thankful Thursday. I'm so thankful that you came on to share your special powers with us. Trying to
Well,
get that
thank
frog
you.
out my throat.
It's all
And
right.
everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Until the next time, take care.
Bye.